Cinema Worms.
Discussing everything from Grima Wormtongue to the Shy Halib.
Super excited to be part of the French Film Festival and to have seen, wait, there you go, The Stranger.
Aujourd'hui, je suis retournée au bain. J'ai fermé les yeux et... j'ai senti ta tête posée sur mon ventre. Quand j'ai rouvert les yeux, tu n'étais pas là. Pourquoi as-tu tué cet homme?
Kitty Cat is present, one of them.
He has many strong opinions.
Oh, yeah. He actually wanted to be present for L'Étranger because of his existential leanings.
He does have ennui. That's why he opens all the doors in this house and then eats plants and throws them up.
Oh, gosh. So today we're really excited to discuss a film we saw at the French Film Festival. So we were offered tickets to see several films at the festival, which was such a blessing. And I think the first one was L'Étranger. L'Étranger. It's Linz has been studying French. Also, I was cooking, hence the apron. But it's cute, right? It's a obviously French film, 2025 reimagining of the classic novel by Camus, Albert Camus, that came out in 1942 called The Stranger. And this version was written and directed by Francois Ozon.
Apparently he was unhappy with the previous adaptations.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's how they introduced the film,
Yes.
which I was like, oh, interesting.
It was
I looked
really
up.
nice to have that context as well.
Yes, it was. So I looked up the other interpretation was in 1967, an Italian film that I suppose this filmmaker wanted to improve on. And this version stars Benjamin Faucin as the lead role of, you're going to have to correct me on all these pronunciations, Mersault.
I would guess Wasson.
Yeah.
As
As Mersault, the main character. Mersault. That makes sense. That's what they said the whole film.
But I enjoy Mersault. You're very American.
Mersault, this young man who is at the center of this very strange classic novel. It also stars Rebecca Marder, Pierre Lotin, Swan Arlaud. I've seen him in other films, including, I wanted to point out during the film, but you don't like talking in films.
No, it's
which is fair enough, but I was like, oh, it's such an interesting choice to cast him. He was in Anatomy of a Fall.
Yes.
Do you remember her friend / lawyer?
I recognized him from that,
And essentially, how do you describe this classic novel? It's about a young Frenchman living in French Algeria whose mother passes away. And I guess if you've never read The Stranger, close your ears now. He randomly kills an unarmed Arab man for no clear reason. He seems to be going through life with a blasé sort of disconnectedness and almost inhumanity that reflects the existential themes Camus was exploring with the seminal novel. What did you think of the film? And also, sorry, just to interrupt, we came home and you immediately that night read The Stranger because you had never read it. And then I read it the next morning.
You kept insisting that we had some Camus, and I knew that we didn't. You were thinking of the Caleb Carr.
What?
Because you kept being like, we have this, and I'm like, no, we don't. I mean, you can see, obviously, it looks like we have every book in the world, perhaps, but we, in fact, do not have every book.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. Again, the French Film Festival, thank you for the tickets. It was super fantastic to see things. I really liked this. I was surprised to see when I read the novella how closely adapted it was, the film was. And I thought, it's not often you get such a close reading, and it also works, but it does work. They've made some changes that I think are really, really interesting. So, I mean, if you haven't read the 1942 book, then you are a little behind on your reading list, and I think maybe we could spoil that. One of the things that they changed that I liked very much is the man who is killed in the book is just never named. He's just an unnamed kind of guy, and there's a lot of sort of bigoted kind of racist stuff going on where it's like, oh well, it doesn't even matter what his name is, you killed him but you're white and therefore the justice system will probably get you off. And actually, in this film, they gave him a name at the end, and they show his sister at his gravestone. So they've actually named the victim and I thought that was a really powerful thing to do. And we've obviously, this has been kind of a classic for many decades now, but to change something so small but so hugely powerful was a really nice touch. I thought the acting was amazing. I really enjoyed it the whole time. It's black and white. It's an unusual choice, but it really works here. The setting was wonderful as well. It could have almost been made in any point in the last 3 decades, and I almost wouldn't have been able to tell. Almost.
Yeah.
Nobody has iPhone face, which is good. And it was done a really good job. You can tell this is his passion, that he really felt that he wanted to do something very specific in this adaptation. And I enjoy that he was powered by a little bit of spite as well as artistic passion.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you think?
I thought, it was gorgeous. And going in, I just knew it was an existential Camus novel. So I didn't know the plot beats. And reading it after, it adds so much depth to our understanding of the film because it's a really faithful yet really divergent interpretation of that story, because you introduce the film with these documentary reels of Algeria kind of as this colonial oasis, and then shifting into depictions of, I believe, like the Algerian War for Independence, and then shifting from those black and white images into this fuzzy long shot of him walking down the corridor with two policemen out of the blurriness, like haziness, and then he comes into clarity. And it was such a cool way to introduce the story. They actually started it off letting us know that he had killed someone, and then flashing back the rest of that story. Yeah. And it's just a richly filmed film in terms of the cinematography, essentially, is gorgeous and
crisp
precise.
And beautiful, and precise is a good word. Crisp, I felt, where perhaps somebody else might have done it in a kind of fuzzier way. Even the sort of dreamlike sequences felt very realized and very crisp.
Yes.
So I as you said, I have been practicing my French. My schoolroom French is coming back now with a little bit of work. I found I was able to, obviously it was a subtitle film, I was able to follow about 70% of it. Bless you with your little cold. It was I was able to follow about 70% of it if I had closed my eyes, which is good because it was simplistically done, but it's very effective in what it does do. So what I would say is, je pense, cet film ne c'est pas génial, mais ce film est bon. Do you know what I... Thank you.
The film is not happy, but it is good.
It's not nice, but it is good.
Really good. Really good.
And it deserves my terrible... For any French people watching, I'm so sorry. I'm doing my best.
Exactly. Yeah. You are trying. And it's... I think you want to order the book in French. Awesome. Yeah, the performances also, just as like a note on that, really interesting. Obviously the main character, there's so much pressure on how to play this guy who's detached and like utterly like repressed or whatever, however you interpret him. So he is quite like opaque and cold and just a hard shell, but then there is something there that keeps him engaging. And then I really enjoyed Swan Arland as this priest who comes in at the end. And I'm sure you could have a different interpretation of him, but I love the way he played him. Yeah.
I think what you're saying is right. Like, the portrayal of Meursault was always going to be an incredibly complex one because he is so... We are required to, in some way, sympathize and identify with him in order to care about his journey. But at the same time, we don't want to, and the filmmaker is conscious of that because he's not a nice person. He is a murderer. He's potentially a sociopath. He's a young man whose ennui has spun out and spiraled into something much bigger. He no longer sees other people as people, but just things. Has he ever even thought of himself as a person? It's almost narcissism, but he doesn't seem to care about himself enough for it to be. So it's really interesting. He did a lot of eye fluttering and very, very slight kind of micro expressions that I thought were just so layered and beautiful. Excellent work.
And Yeah, it was just really exciting. I don't know if we would necessarily have seen this otherwise, and I'm really glad we did. You listed it now in your favorite films of the last 25 years.
Yes, it made the top, I believe, top 10 or 15 films of, and this is the reason that I didn't want to do the videos until as late as possible in the year, because I was like, what if I see something that I want to, and you said, what are the chances? Well, look who was right, because there was something that we came out of that and I was like, wow, what a film, and I'm still thinking about it now. And that doesn't always happen. I think that was maybe my 93rd film that I saw this year, 92nd or 93rd, and it really stands out.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and you have to, when you're seeing that volume, everything does kind of meld together unless it's an outlier. And for some, either very good or very bad. You know, the standouts are, it's not always a positive thing if you stand out in that bunch, but if you do for good reasons, then you have to, you know that you're at the top.
Fais-moi heureux.
We really recommend that you see this film.
Absolutely, 100%.
Obviously, we are highly praising it, and also checking some things out at the French Film Festival, which is happening right now in Edinburgh. And I don't know if it's in other parts of the UK. I have to double check. I'll add that information here.
I'm actually going to see another film, Shen
Yes, you
51. I'm really excited about that on the 27th.
Okay, so you can check that out.
Yeah, I'll be reviewing that as well. I'm really hyped about it. It sounds really good. So yeah, I wish we'd been able to go to more actually, because it's been such an excellent festival. But like, yeah, big up the French Film Festival. If you have an opportunity to see something, please do.